Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave, Chris, and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for joining us here on episode 6 of the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. For those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for stopping by, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoy the show. We are champions. We are just wrapping up the Leagues Cup Finals match against Nashville SC that saw Inter Miami lift the trophy after a crazy set of penalties, with Drake Callender hitting the winning penalty and then saving the opposite goalkeeper's penalty. It was very dramatic.
His name was Panic.
Panico was the final, right? We had Campana missing at the very death of regulation, which just, I was on the floor retching because that was the moment that there was going to be a gong behind me that I was going to be ringing as the show started. So we overcame that, we collectively, and here we are. Inter Miami are champions for the first time in their club history, and I couldn't be more thrilled for the club, for Drake Callender, for all the players on the team, for Messi. He seems so happy to have been a part of it. It's all great. It's all positive.
He's never been happier.
I don't know who picks it up, but I'm delighted, and I can't wait to talk about this match.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think all of our nerves were through the roof when this match started. We all kept texting each other, like, can't wait, we're anxious, we're nervous, and then it finally came, and it was a slow start to the match. It was very different than we expected. I think I know that we all got our predictions wrong when the first goal was going to be made. Didn't come to the 23rd minute. I think the highest was Jose at 18 minutes.
They really made us wait.
So they really made us wait.
Actually, I was right.
Yeah, and it didn't help with the nerves at all. So, but it was a great match. Kept us on the edge of our seats the whole way through. And obviously, we're super excited with the outcome. I can't believe the way it ended, but I'm glad it did end that way.
It was the fewest amount of notes that I had in a game since we've been doing this. Like, it was a lot of empty possession by us, some nervy moments when Nashville had the ball, and then a flash of brilliance from the man himself.
Right. Yeah, I stopped taking notes at some point. I was just reading my notes before, and I was like, wait, I don't have any more notes.
I commend you guys for even taking notes. I was pretty sweaty. I don't think I could hold on to a pen if I wanted to. I was just curled up on the side of my couch, not talking to anybody. Oh my God, I don't think I've been this nervous for a game since watching the Super Bowl when I was watching the Bengals lose to the Rams. But my God, this game was intense. Yeah, I feel like, we could have put them away at the end there, but easily we could have been put away a few times. All those every single corner was extremely dangerous taken by Nashville. So, I mean, I'm extremely happy with the turnout, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if this was a blueprint game for the league. I don't think everybody is at the skill level of Nashville in the MLS, but it's definitely something to watch, and we definitely have areas to improve.
I totally disagree with all of you. It was never in doubt. It's cocky Miami fan. It's expected. We're 6-0, never lost. All I see happening is we line them up, we knock them down. Next is the number one team in MLS, Cincinnati, on Wednesday. Okay, down. Let's go. Let's see what happens again. Another fun game that a Callender wins on a goal kick. Fine. The script is fun. It's exciting, and I can't wait to see Wednesday. Honestly, I think that'll be a really good test for us. We beat Orlando, we've beaten the Union, now Nashville. I mean, these are all playoff teams. It's going to be a huge game on Wednesday. We raised the cup, awesome. We got to raise another one, right? The U.S. Open Cup now.
Yeah, whatever. That's right.
Is that what it's called? Whatever. Let's go win that one too.
It is. You were spot on. You're spot on as always. I think it's really interesting how the schedule has lined up because to your point of it being a litmus test, every game has almost progressively been better opposition,
Harder.
better
Yes.
opposition, better opposition. And now we're at the point where the last two games we've said, okay, Philadelphia is going to be the toughest challenge we faced. Nashville is going to be the toughest challenge we faced. Now Cincinnati is going to be the toughest challenge we've faced. So I think it's really interesting how that sort of worked itself out. But Nashville, yeah, they their strengths are perfect parallel opposites to our biggest weaknesses. They're really good on set pieces, which we're really bad against because we don't have great size, and they're very pacey up the middle that completely destroys our center backs. I thought they did a great job in the first, I guess the first half of just defending these deep crosses that Nashville were putting into the box. Kristoff was one of the standouts of the first half.
Lights
Excellent
out.
clearances,
Great
just
defense in general.
just understanding where everybody was. He was spot on, and Callender had, I mean, he was man of the match, completely deservedly so, and had full command of his penalty area in the first half. It was nervy, but there was a sense of calm about the back line the whole first half that helped ease my nerves. And I really want to talk about the Messi goal because that was the bold underlined event of the first half.
He bent it. That was incredible. What I love about Apple compared to ESPN hated, I think, having MLS. It's obvious. It was obvious at this point. Apple, all the different angles that they were showing us on how Messi like bent it around the whole defense and it just curved right in. I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's unbelievable.
It's not just the bend on the shot; it's the pace that it went in with. Like that, he can bend it, but at the velocity that he does it, I'm sorry, but the goalkeeper has nearly no shot of blocking that, and he puts it in the top bin. Like, what are you supposed to do with that?
And with the traffic that was around him, there wasn't like it was a wide open shot either. I mean, he had to dribble it one or two times to really get that angle. So it's not like it was a cakewalk shot. It was
to set himself up for that shot was insane. Like
exactly.
he received it on one edge of the box, dribbled around Zimmerman, which in the replay when I saw that I was like, oh wow, that was their best defender, maybe the best defender in the MLS, and then still had to dribble and find space across three more people before hitting it as he's going away from goal to curve it back into the goal in the most perfect position. When I saw it live, it was so surreal. I knew it was a goal, but at the same time, I was like, oh, he missed wide, and it hit the like bounced off the stanchion behind and then hit the back of the net. But I was like, both sides of my brain were happening at the same time. It was like goal, but also did he miss? And he just kept running, celebrating. And I was like, no, we scored out. Just unbelievable. He's so good. It's so unfair. It's so unfair.
Never in doubt.
Nashville, to their credit, were perhaps they seemed the least demoralized because immediately they came out and for the next 5 to 10 minutes, they started going on the front foot and putting pressure on us. But we held on for the first half. And then halftime came. I was ready for Campana to come on. And I think to some extent, his absence in a way led to the first goal or his presence may have affected if that Nashville equalizer came in. Something that Twellman kept saying on the broadcast was that Campana not only gives something different in attack, but his height gives something in defense on set pieces, which I thought was such a smart point to make. And we saw it towards the end of the game, but Campana, they put him right on the front post once he came in to defend on corners, and that's exactly where the ball went on the goal that Nashville scored. It went to the front post, they headed it backwards, and then one of our players knocked it in. It ended up being called an own goal on
Callender.
Yeah, it was bumped off a Callender.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm surprised Joseph stayed in the match at halftime. I didn't think he was bringing much to the game.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is what I told you. I'm like, unless he makes that really egregious error in the first half, I don't see them taking him out at the half.
His error was not dummying it. I don't remember if that was in the first half or not.
Right. I don't remember either, but that
infuriated me.
I mean, it's not big enough to have them pull him.
I agree with that. He
He doesn't give you anything. Like
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
He leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Completely.
But I think moving forward, that's enough. Because look, what's his face? He wasn't. My God, Campana wasn't in there very long. And look at that. Look at the long shot at the end there to give him a chance. Martinez hasn't done that. I know he did it last game, and it was a wide open lane to do it. Like he needed everything to be perfect for that to happen. I think Campana can do it with a little more regularity, and I think everybody agrees with this. Not just everybody in this podcast, but we're hearing it nationally. We're hearing it all around. So that can only hold off for so long.
I was very disappointed with my bold take from last time. Joseph did not make his 2 goals. There was no continuity.
I think we're all
There's
wrong.
nothing there.
Well, we thought there would be a lot more goals. We felt it was going to be a much more open affair, but it really was. It was tight. It was tight. It was tight the whole match.
I did say that either Arroyo or Gomez would find the back of the net, and guess what? Arroyo hit his PK. No, Gomez hit his PK. Gomez.
Sure.
Does it count? Come on.
Sure.
On the back of the
For your
net?
prediction, come on.
I mean, I was off with the 5-3. I'll give you that.
Slightly.
I was the closest again. I don't know what to tell you.
So
Still way off.
let's move away from our very incorrect predictions. But Nashville's set pieces were such a constant reminder of how dangerous they are, and it constantly made me nervous every time they had a set piece, whether it be a corner or a free kick in our defensive half. And they're so freaking good at those. Mukhtar curves it into such dangerous areas. Zimmerman's he's a thick boy. He's in there and he's a presence. Like even next to our defenders, he looks just stout. He looks like he's moving people. I think he threw Kamal Miller to the ground on one of the plays, or just completely moved him out of his way. And
he was so mad at himself. He was so mad at himself because the one chance he did get, it went straight to the center, and Callender was able to make a relatively easy save instead of making it to one of the corners, So, yeah.
Callender makes it all look easy. I love him. I'm so happy that he won goalkeeper of the tournament, that he won man of the match, that he kept us in this game, because
5 saves.
And Nashville at the very end had a very real chance on a corner back to their set pieces.
Flurry of shots.
Oh, it's just he had to be as good as he was, otherwise we would have lost. And I don't think that's a stretch.
The defense, early on in this tournament, the defense was the thing that was hurting us the most. And in this match, the defense held their own. They got beat on that one corner. These guys are amazing at corners, but how many times did we see them beat the corner? And how about some transition goals where they had Mukhtar running free, and either we had professional fouls to stop them, or we had some really, really good lane coverage by the center backs. So it was, I think that might have been their best defensive performance of the tournament, just because of the high stress level of the game.
And the level of attack that they were facing today too.
If I would have told you guys that we were only going to score 1 goal, what would you guys? If I told you guys in the preview we're only going to score 1 goal, what would you guys think? That would we have won or lost?
1-1. And then 10-9 on penalty kicks.
Yeah, we were literally we relied on our defense to pull it out. And
yeah, I was
never thought we could.
I was
win a defense game. You know what I'm saying? That was never in the bingo. We never thought that would happen.
Well, we said possession, right? But every time we say possession, we mean impactful possession.
Yes.
Because we had possession for such long stretches, especially to start the game, but it was all in our defensive half. It was all passing around the back. And whenever we talk about possession, especially in the build-up 2 games, we talk about pulling players out of position, and Nashville were just keeping us in front of them, and we were pulling no one out of position. They were just sort of waiting for us to make a bad pass or to make a silly decision. And yeah, I mean, if you had told me we would score 1, but had 60% possession, I'd say, okay, I like our chances. but it was rough. It was rough in stretches because it just felt like we weren't gaining any ground on the pitch. It just felt like meaningless.
Like we couldn't get past the midfield.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I felt most of the game, though. Honestly.
Well, we started the match, and for all intents and purposes, we had the ball for the first 4.5 minutes of the game. And we maybe crossed the halfway line twice, 3 times, a handful of times.
Well, that's why I texted you guys. I'm like, guys, we haven't had any possession, and you all corrected me.
There's
it
nothing
felt
like
like-
possession. We
it
check
felt
it.
like-
It's
it felt like we
80-20.
weren't doing. It felt like we weren't doing anything. It felt like we were just in our half on side of our half of the pitch, and it was like,
Like,
okay.
Chris
And then
texted
obviously you
us,
guys
Yeah,
you guys
we
corrected
have
me. It was
no- we have no
80% or
possession.
something.
we have no possession, and we all looked at it and we're like, Chris, we're at like 80% right now. What are you talking about?
And funnily enough, for the second half, we turned into largely a counter-attacking team. It was waiting for Nashville to lose possession because they were really pressuring us. And then we would have some space to function and to spark a break, spark a play. It was a different path to victory for us. These are the kinds of games where I look at those remaining games in the MLS and I'm like, this could certainly happen once or twice or a handful of times. And it's just games like these that don't go to penalties in the league that cost us 2 points here and there and makes the difference. It's just Nashville mucked it up.
Yeah, it
Yep.
did, and it worked. This is
It finally happened.
It happened.
This is the closest thing that I've seen of a team like clamping down on us like that. And I think we can get through it though. I think it just now we saw a team do it, and okay, like how do we get past it, right? I almost wonder, like we were talking about Campana before. I almost wonder, which up to this point, like you guys have wanted Campana, but I've always been like, but I don't get it because like we're still winning. It doesn't make sense. But today, and in the preview, I don't know if you remember Julio, but you were saying how you think that Tata's gonna go with Joseph because he's a more of a veteran presence, and with this defense, how good it is, you kind of prefer that a little bit of a veteran knowledge of just like, okay, let's not panic, let's get the offense going and stuff like that, and maybe Campana is a more limited player. But it's funny because when we saw that stretch that he played, and we saw those runs that he was taking, and maybe that's kind of the guy that we needed. You know what I'm saying? And in the set pieces, like you said earlier, man, we could have used some size. Maybe maybe they don't get a goal. Maybe we beat them 1-0. You know what I mean?
Totally. And it was an interesting dynamic because my argument was that Zimmerman was going to have him in just a chokehold. Like he was just going to have a sleeper lock on him. But towards the end of the match, Zimmerman was really pressing high. I think McNaughton or one different defender was on Campana on the breakaway, who eventually slipped and fell. And Zimmerman was up. So it would have been interesting to see from minute 1 what would have happened. I just love Campana. And I'm so devastated that he missed what would have made him just a club icon. There would have been a statue before they got back to Miami because I would have made it and erected it outside of Drive Pink Stadium.
We would have all been erected.
So
the statue would have been erected.
So Campana gets a ball played out to him in the 90th minute plus. Right after Callender makes a save on a corner. So Campana gets it one-on-one with the goalkeeper, tries to do a scary Larry, chip over the goalkeeper. The keeper gets a piece of it, and the defender that's tracking back sort of crashes into the keeper. So Campana just needs to get to the ball, which is now careening just almost parallel
from the goal. Yeah.
Almost parallel with the goal, right? So not going in. He
He
catches up to it as the ball is just passing the mouth of the net. And then he kicks it and it hits the post and goes out of bounds, and the ref blows the whistle, and I was distraught. Because as Campana collected the ball, first I look at the ref on the line and he's not calling offside. And I was like, oh my God, this is happening right now. The defender slips and I'm like, oh, this is actually happening. Just don't mess it up. And then tried the chip, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And the ball doesn't seem to have enough pace because the defender was tracking back. But then the defender slips, and I'm like, oh, this is legitimately happening. And then he missed. And I was just so devastated. I was so
When he
devastated.
chipped the ball over the keeper, I was so confident it was going in. My shirt was already coming off. I was getting ready to take off. And then I noticed that the ball was just slipping past the net. And I was like, no.
It like took an awkward, like it went like to the left. I almost thought that the goalie, like I thought the goalkeeper for some reason might have hit it. You
I think he
might
did.
have.
Because
I think he did.
But it didn't matter because this guy, he dunked it outside. So,
Oh,
yeah.
listen, it's very
Heartbreaking.
difficult. Inter Miami were playing against 12 players tonight. The 11 players on the pitch and the post. Because Messi also hit the post on what would have been just
a miraculous
the,
goal.
the scripts would have gone out the window.
Oh my God.
And that goal would have been even more, I think, maybe just as impressive as the first goal. He's running left, goalkeeper's running left, all the defense is running left, and he just smashes it to the right. And it's not like he just missed the post a little bit. Like he hit the post dead center to the fact that it bounced back. Like he hit it well. He hit that ball well.
Yeah.
He hit it where
He always
wanted.
does. You never see him like scuff it.
Well,
Well,
he smacked out one free
The
kick.
one free kick, you know, if we're gonna count one, you know,
But no. So
Yeah.
so Messi took a free kick
He
that
sped it up.
he hit into the stands.
Yes.
Two things. First,
You
it
call
was
for the
it was
coach afterwards.
it was pretty far out.
Yes.
Far out. Secondly, I think he was trying to catch the keeper while he was not ready. I think the keeper was still organizing the defensive line, and Messi saw an opportunity because he took the kick pretty quickly, and it ended up just going into the stands.
Yeah. Instead, he caught the kid in the 15th row off.
Yeah,
Garden.
but it's not that like it's not that automatic distance that we saw against Cruz Azul and then against Dallas. It was further out, and I think he just saw an opening and rushed it. I'll give him the benefit of a doubt because he's earned it.
One chance that bothered me a lot was I think it was, I don't remember if it was Robert Taylor or if it was Jordi Alba who crossed it in on the ground, and the one
The
Martinez
dummy? Is this the dummy?
Martinez who loves
Oh,
to
that
pull
was
off
the
a
beginning of the game,
useless
right?
dummy, did not do the dummy, and Messi immediately started barking at him like, what?
Oh, that was the Kremeski to it was Jordy, yeah. It was Jordy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
To-
I think it was Jordi and
to Joseph, I want to say.
Mhm.
yeah, Joseph, if he would have dummied that, that would have been an easy goal for Messi. And I thought that was it. I'm like, okay, there it is. That's the big mistake. He's not coming back in the half.
So
And Messi was mad. I'm like, if Messi's visibly upset, how can you keep him on? But
so here's how the play developed. Jordi Alba is on the wing and swings it into the box where Joseph is already more or less on the penalty spot, and Messi is coming in from the top of the box. Joseph his momentum is carrying him towards goal, but he decides to loop back out and come towards the ball, come to get the ball, basically cutting off the path of the ball that was going towards Messi. If Joseph had continued toward the front post, the defenders would have had to continue to mark him or make the decision to cut back and intercept the ball. But more often than not, the defenders track back, leaving space behind where Messi would have run onto it. And Messi was pissed. He was pissed. And so was I, because the last two games, Joseph has dummied it with no one behind him. And finally, someone was behind him, and it was Messi. And Messi, rightfully so, was he was just like all of us. For a fleeting moment, we were all Messi.
Could have been a hat trick today, you know.
He could have. We're still waiting.
We're still waiting. I feel I texted you guys out in the beginning. I was like, man, I feel like if we get one more goal right now, we're gonna open this game up.
It would have changed completely.
Of course, you're down 2 goals with Messi on the other side. I don't care how composed you are. I don't care how your defense is played. This literally the union. What happened with them? They're great defense. They got hit in the mouth a few times. Oh, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to play defense anymore. Zimmerman would have known what to do anymore. I don't care how good he is.
So speaking of composure, let's talk about these penalty kicks, because this was a roller coaster. So I wrote down the name of everybody who took penalties, which was everybody on the pitch at the moment. And I wrote down what happened more or less by way of check marks or X's. So Messi takes the first penalty kick and just Panico is nowhere to be found. I mean, Messi hit it into just the side of a barn. Mukhtar goes up next and smashes one. Busquets comes up and also sends Panico completely the wrong direction. Then Nashville sends Leal up, who misses due to a Drake Callender save. He hits it right up the middle and Callender saves with his kneecaps. I'm feeling great. However, next up is Campana. Maybe 5 minutes removed from missing what would have been the title clinching goal. And I was convinced that Campana was going to miss this shot completely. I thought he was going to emulate Messi and hit it into the stands. And he slots it in professionally. Very nice. Very composed. I was so happy for him because had he missed that, he would have been broken goods. I don't think we see him for weeks, if at
We
all.
won't even
if he missed it.
mention his name.
I would have called for him to come back just to see if he was still alive, but I would have been sad for him. So anyways, my compatriot Godoy goes up and takes the next one for Nashville, scores it. Kamal Miller takes a really nice penalty that goes under the glove of Panico.
Crazy.
Just incredible. As we progress past Busquets, by the way, I have zero faith. Zero faith in any of our penalty kicks.
But I'll tell you, come on, Miller. This is the second time that guy just comes in,
Yes.
just like rips it right into the perfect spot.
Pretty much everyone that took a penalty hit a great penalty kick. Great. We had multiple balls hitting the roof of the net.
Christoph. So
Christoph's was fantastic.
stupid.
Quite a few that went the way that the goalkeeper guessed and still went in, and not closely by a wide margin. So after Kamal Miller, Zimmerman goes up and makes his, no surprise there. Ulloa, who was subbed on in the 81st minute for Inter Miami, comes on. When Ulloa came on, I said I wasn't thrilled about it. And he comes up and Panico makes a save in what would have been the match-winning penalty. Now it's even. Now it's sudden death. Then you have a string of everybody making it. Surridge, Christoph, Moore, Alba, Lovitz, Gomez, McNaughton, Ruiz, Davis, Yedlin, Schaff.
Let me note here, Alba, apparently that was his first professional penalty.
Let's talk about that.
There's
There's no way
that's
that's a fake stat if I've ever heard one.
I
mean,
find that hard to believe.
I just took it as true.
How can Jordi Alba never have taken a professional penalty kick in his career?
Have we checked? Do we know?
How do you check that? You have to go back to any. Well,
Just
so here there's
on
quite a few
Google right
things,
now.
right? It would only have been in a final.
Well, they said that Barcelona hasn't been in penalties in like 23 years.
Right. It would only have been in a final, right? Because you don't take penalty kicks. Oh, I guess any knockout, right? It would be any knockout game across all his years at Barcelona when they were in plenty of tournaments.
But apparently Barcelona hasn't gone into PKs in 23 years. That's what he was saying.
It sounds like a lot of fake stats. Anyway, so that was
How about
allegedly Alba's
national
first
team? How
professional
about
penalty.
national team? Spain?
They said no. They said
There
not on
either?
Spain either.
Wow.
Anyways, so
Might be
allegedly that was Alba's first penalty, professional, and he scored it. So excuse me. So Schaffelberg makes what ends up being the last penalty by an outfield player. So up comes Drake Callender, who hits such a good penalty kick into the roof of the net. I think it was just left of Panico. And then Panico comes up, and I knew we were winning. When the Callender slammed it home like that, I told myself, this is it. And heading into the penalties, I just put my phone down and let you guys chat amongst yourselves. But I needed full concentration. So Panico steps up with his helmet. And then Callender just saves it. Cool as a cucumber, cool as the other side of the pillow, no doubt saves it, both hands, not even close. Put that in your mechanical engineering degree, and you can go home. Thank you very much. Dre Callender, man of the match, Inter Miami champions.
He took it into his own hands. He made it and he blocked it back to back. That's it. Went home.
So great.
And if we're being honest, he made the only goal for Nashville as well. So
There you go.
At what point were you guys most nervous during the penalty kicks?
When we missed the penalty kick, and it seemed like they had all the momentum.
yeah, once it was even, you're like, crap, this can go. This is now really just a coin flip. It's whoever misses is done.
Also, towards the end of the game, they had the corner right before the long
that corner where
pass.
Callender had to save was.
It just seemed like it was like, this is just nicely scripted. This is how it's supposed to end. But I never had any doubt, so I don't know what we're talking about.
True. For me, in the penalty kicks, it was after Christoph made his, and Shaq Moore then steps up for Nashville and makes his, and I felt like the crowd got so into it that it really put the fear of God in me. I was like, okay, who's up next? Oh, Jordi Alba, who allegedly has never taken a professional penalty in his life. I'm a little nervous. So that was the moment for me. But hey, doesn't matter. Look at the scoreboard. 1-1 Inter Miami versus Nashville. 10-9 on penalties, which is crazy in and of itself. And I think it's the first of many trophies, not only for the franchise in the next couple years, but probably for this season.
Look at us, huh?
Look at us.
Titles, cups, and
ho hum. Ho hum.
Cincinnati next week.
It feels nice because we've had a stretch here where we've had South Florida teams show a little success, and they just haven't been able to get over the hump and come home with a victory in a championship game. So it's I mean, thank you, Messi, for showing up here and in 1 month finishing it off and getting us a trophy. And it feels like we've had a little bit of a drought. So yeah, it feels really, really nice. I feel like this is a recurring theme. Every time that he hits the pitch, I end up saying, wow, this feels really, really nice. And you know what? I want to get used to this. I want to keep feeling really, really nice.
Amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. It's only up, even though we've already won a cup. Only up.
Right. I feel like our team needs a nice little break, though.
Yeah, we get 3
days to get acquainted. Just like now we're going boom. First place team Cincinnati, go ahead, bam. It's like I would love like just a little 7-day stretch where they could just like practice together.
When you're a good team, this is what happens though. You're in multiple competitions, and people are always, you have a target on your back, and that's how we have to look at ourselves, even though we're last place in the league.
And that's why they need to keep training these young guys and bringing them in to keep some legs fresh, because they're going to be in a lot of games. The better they are, the more tournaments they're going to be, and they're going to have to use a different assortment of players. They can't do like they did in this tournament and rely on the same 11 every single game. They're going to have to start sprinkling in some new starters just to give some guys some fresh legs.
And hopefully some of the injured guys come in too and could take over as well.
Yeah, I think Gregory's close. And then we should see Farias, and we should see our other new acquisition soon.
Toto. I think Toto.
Tata. We'll see what Tata does.
The center back.
But we have the Cincinnati game coming on Wednesday in the U.S. Open Cup. So we will get a preview out for that match it'll be available Monday night. So Tuesday morning for most people. So keep an eye out for that. And as always, home of the Leagues Cup champion Inter Miami. We thank you guys for tuning in for the Heron Heads podcast, and we'll catch you guys next time.